I talk to a spirit. She comes in my dreams.
What is the path to awakening supposed to look like? To feel like? How do you know if you are on it? We ask these very sacred and sometimes vulnerable questions to many different women from all walks of life. A conversation that needs to be shared and heard. I'm Jo Hendy.
I'm Amanda Parker.
And welcome to the Girl Awakening podcast. Good morning, Amanda.
Good morning. Here we are. Yeah, you look very, very important, very official. We're going to go serious today. We're going to go serious.
I just need them to read my eyes. I don't know, something around the moment that's my.
Yeah.
You know, is it the same for you? Your eyes have been mine too.
Yeah, I think there's a few things, like there's a lot of energy in the space, a lot of change happening. There's a lot of quickness in the air, and also the change of seasons with here, the lights different, quite intense.
Yeah.
But also, I don't know, I feel like our hearts are kind of being stretched a bit at the moment with where we've been asked to go, and kind of what's going to be lovely with our guest today to flow into as well.
Absolutely. And we are reaching abroad again, which we have been a lot lately.
So far.
The United States has been
calling
and on our radar a lot lately. So this morning we have another beautiful lady, Celeste Odelle. She is an author and advocate for personal transformation. After enduring significant personal trauma and feeling trapped in life that no longer brought fulfillment, Celeste discovered the power of writing as a way to heal and reconnect with her true self. What began as a personal journey of journaling and reflection grew into a calling to inspire others to embrace their own healing of self-discovery. This is so prevalent right now in the moment, the last, this whole introspective, is that what you say? Introspective, going within
internal
world and then moving through that. So perfectly timed, Celeste. Welcome to Girl Awakening. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. This is amazing.
No, it's just beautiful that we get to connect across spaces around the planet. So present with each other, and just as Jo's sharing, like what you're all about, and with your book, and what you're writing about now with your second book is just so important for everyone to, I guess, break through what's going on for a lot of people now. So
and I really feel it. I'm quite empathic, so I really feel what's going on. I feel others' energies. So I couldn't not share or not do this work. And like when I'm sitting with some of my clients, and I mean, not everybody, but so many people are in the same fear stuck mode that is really prevalent right now. And I think the more that we can each do our part, like you ladies, like me, and so many other guests you have, the more we can each do our part, to do our work in the world, we can make a difference. I really believe that.
I hear you.
Oh, so hear you. And I love how you just, I keep seeing these quotes that keep popping up on my socials, which is around, the trauma or heartbreak or the journey, the deep, dark journey. What we find is that's the medicine that gets us through, and it's like, if we can turn it around into looking at it as medicine for us. It can change and shift the whole dynamic of us evolving, and learning. That is part of your journey. So we're going to ask the wonderful question of Celeste: how did your awakening begin?
Well, I feel like when I was a child, there were nudges, but I grew up in a very strict religious home. So I wasn't allowed to explore them. And so it actually became very spiritually and otherwise confusing for me as a child, because I was being taught this rule-based dogma And yet on the other side, I could feel there was something more. I could feel there was something different. And I would run away to the woods to be by myself as much as I can, because that's where I felt free.
Mm.
But I couldn't put my finger on any of it at that time, of course. And so my life actually ended up being quite the roller coaster. And lots of trauma. And it's funny, I can talk about it now, but I think of like, man, that was quite the ride. It's kind of like, running into third base with your ass on the ground. And but
Yeah.
but I can talk about it now, and I talk about it in my memoir. But it was actually very, very dark, to the point where there was a piece in there that I didn't even think that I was going to make it. I was contemplating, ending my life, and I was in a very, very dark place. So for me to know and be where I am now, I feel like an absolutely, completely different person. So I would say my true awakening was probably as I started facing all this stuff, and facing the fear, and facing my past, and the shame, and the guilt, and everything else that came out of years of heartache and trauma. So I think that was the turning point. Like, I'm an absolutely different person now. Even though there was definitely some spiritual moments, even in the even through this trauma, there's some interesting spiritual moments that in the back of my mind, I'm going, so it's kind of, it took me a little bit.
Yeah. So, and when you say spiritual, you're differentiating between religion and spirit or soul.
Right.
Source. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. The religious part was, that just brought me beliefs that I didn't matter. I never measured up. I wasn't good enough. All these other things. And it was a lot of fear-based. So the religion aspect was not qualities that did me any favors in so many ways. But to give you an example of a spiritual moment, I'd already been through, rape and a marriage, and I was remarried to somebody else, and I was involved in this attempted hostage taking event at my work, and everybody else was hiding, and I knew there was something that just, like, it was so strong that I had to get out of there. Like, I just had to get out of there. So I ended up leading the hostage taker out of the building because he followed me.
Wow.
And it was quite a traumatic experience. I won't get into too many details, but I let him out into the back alley where there was nobody except him and I, whereas the front of the office was just, surrounded by police and SWAT cars and you name it. But it was just him and I in the back. So anyways, I turned around and went to scream and like, he's back here. And they got him and took him off and so on. I ended up having PTSD from the deal, but because I was so conditioned to not be allowed to have feelings or needs, I just squished everything down and didn't even take care of what I needed to take care of, if that makes sense. So I just lived with this, fight or flight for a long time. But anyways, the incident left, he was in jail for murder, and there was two guards that were supposed to be taking care of him, and they We're like, oh, letting their guard down. And so the one got fired and the other one was put on probation. And I was supposed to go to trial for this person, and so it was a whole big deal. Anyway, 5 years later, I'm living in a different city, have a different job. Everything in my life is different. I think I was now divorced even from my second husband, and everything is different. I'm managing a claims department of an insurance company. And so when a file would come across my desk, I'd take a quick glance, I'd give it to this staff member or that staff member. But this one, I was just like, I have to take this one. There's something about it that was just calling me. So I contacted the lady, and she had had a burglary, and she's a single mom of 3 kids. So, it might take me a while to get all the documents together. So I kept contact with her, and, is there anything I can do to help? Like, so I even met her at a gas station on the side of the highway one time because I needed her signature on something, and she was just so busy. Anyways, we ended up becoming friendly. Really nice lady, and she said she was a widow, and I asked her, I said, well, you're really young to be, like, her kids were little. I said, you're really young to be a widow. Do you mind if I ask how your husband passed? And she says, oh, no, it's okay. She goes, yeah, he committed suicide because he was a guard at a prison, and he had let this hostage situation, or this guy take these people hostage.
Wow.
And as soon as she said that, everything in my body knew that this was the wife of the prison guard. I'm like, 5 years later, different city, different job, millions of people that live in this area.
Yeah.
And here I am put or like on the phone with this woman. I'm like, what? Like, this is not a coincidence. There's some reason. I don't know to this day specifically, but I did ask her, do you want to know my side of that day? And she said, yes, I do. So I told her, my experience, and, she cried and stuff, but I don't know. I knew, like, so the curiosity in my spiritual life started to go, this is too weird to be just a coincidence. What is going on? And just, it really made me realize that there's so many things being orchestrated that we don't even recognize unless we're waking up.
Yeah.
So that was one of them. And then years later, I ended up being involved in a narcissist abusive relationship, which was never something I had experienced before and never want to again. But it was very confusing for me, because I they portray that they love you with the depth of their heart, but it's not really a real thing. Anyway, so there was lots of issues there, and which came first? Oh, so we were going away for the weekend to do a kind of like a romantic getaway, and we get to the lake, we check into the hotel, and we're down by the beach, and just okay, finally here, okay, we can do this, and then I hear this crack, and this big tree with all these this branch with all these other branches coming off was coming towards me, and I wasn't able to get out of the way in time, so I was kind of in about like kind of a half getting up, and it plummeted me to the ground.
Wow.
and I've heard, and I believe this since then, that my soul, my soul was given a choice that day to live or die. I've been told that by several different channelers and people. So that was interesting. And I felt it. I felt like while I was lying there and I couldn't move, and I was kind of in and out of the 3D reality. It was really, really interesting to make sense of what was going on, because I kind of felt this little blips of bliss, and then, oh my God, what's going on? And such pain that I couldn't move, and then bliss, and then pain. It was really interesting. So that left me bedridden for a few months, 2 to 3 months. And at that point, I was, a mom of kids. I was in this relationship at a big, big job, and with, lots of expectations, and to nothing, to just lying there in bed and watching the ceiling. And it was like, okay, it's time to stop. It was really, really a time of like assessing my life, because it was just one chaotic thing after another. And that's when I felt like I kind of hit that dark night of the soul. Was like, I don't think I can do this. I just, like, there was no joy. And I had no support. And it took everything in me just to get through a day. And shortly after I was able to kind of move a little bit and started some therapy, there was one night where a big argument ensued with this person that I was with. And long story short, I borrowed his truck, because I didn't have my car there. I borrowed his truck and I fled. And I'd already tried to get out of the relationship 4 times. And there was something that I just kept going back. And I can see it now, and I can have compassion on myself now. But while I was going through it, it was like, what are you doing? But I now that I feel like I've healed these parts of me, I have a lot more compassion for, why I would have gone back to something like that. But anyways, so I get to a safe spot for the night, and something in me felt calmer than it had in a long time. And this peace came over me. So I went to bed and ignored all the abusive messages. And when I got up in the morning, I slept like a baby, which I hadn't in a long time. And when I woke up in the morning, I was still in that astral plane or something. And I heard somebody say, if you don't get out of this relationship, you're dead. And I'm like, so I sat up in my bed, and I could see a misty figure kind of thing at the end of my bed, and it said it again, if you don't get out, you're dead. I'm like, wow. First the tree, and now you have to send somebody. So I held on to that to get out, and made the steps to make changes. And it wasn't overnight by any means, but I made some really big changes, and started to peel back the onions of who am I? Like, it all felt so chaotic for so many years, running on this shame, guilt, trauma, chaos, like cycle that I couldn't seem to get out of. so finally I started making some steps towards, getting out of that. And like I was telling you before the show, like I feel like an absolutely completely different person than I did like even 5 or 6 years ago. It's just been, I mean, I love life. I think it's magical. I have I have a mentorship that I'm doing, developing my clairs. So I've got more and more intuitive hits and channeling coming through. I I knew I could channel, but it would come through willy-nilly, if that makes sense. And now I'm learning how to actually call it in instead of just, when it unexpected, which is fine too. But
Yeah,
Yeah.
beautiful.
yeah.
That's quite
So it's been
yeah,
quite the ride.
quite the ride. Yes, quite a journey of going like really when you share around lying in your bed unable to move being the beginning of the dark night of the soul. It's
Yeah.
almost like a lot of your life really was leading into that valley
Yeah.
slowly till that
Yeah.
one point of where you could no longer escape because you literally
Yeah.
couldn't move.
Yeah.
So your inner self started to be able to talk more loudly to you, if you like. There was no distractions
Yeah.
from the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I also,
And it's interesting. Oh,
sorry.
oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, you go. It's interesting to, I guess, reflect on.
Well, it's interesting, yeah, to reflect on all of that. And in writing my book, I wrote it as a journey to heal, to let go of who I thought I was, and that wasn't me at all.
Mm,
And I think there's so many lessons, like even when doing podcasts or when I was writing my book, I'm like, there's so many different lessons I've learned through all of this that I've want to share with others, because I feel like there's so many people that are living their lives half-assed,
Yeah.
and there's no reason we need to do that. We can live full, magical, beautiful lives. Um, so I want my message to be clear, when I'm, working with others, and even in developing my clairs further, and I really want to be of service.
Mm.
So
it's beautiful.
I
Thank
love
you.
hearing that, each time we sit with different women on this podcast, it's very clear when you can stand back and look and hear
yeah,
and listen to somebody's journey, that when
yeah,
the alignment's not there, the universe comes in to let you know, hey, you're not on
yeah,
track. I just need to show you, or I need to push you, or I need to drop a tree on you, or I need to do
yeah,
something just to say, wake up,
yeah,
you're
yeah,
you're a little bit off track, but come back
yeah,
over here. Like the
yeah,
universe has seriously always got our back,
yeah,
and I listening to your story, I think, I when I'm standing back and looking at it, I'm thinking, well, you were born into a family with very religious beliefs that weren't yours. And,
yeah,
for the people that are listening too, it can come through a family line, where,
yeah,
yes, you're born into that family, but your lesson in this lifetime is to be able to listen to your own
yeah,
religion, and
yeah,
find that. And I
yeah,
mean, for you got that luckily at a younger age, where you started hearing things that felt right to you, but didn't align with the family values.
yeah,
And it sounded like your journey was a little trickier than others,
yeah,
especially coming through the family line, but it does
yeah,
happen. Sometimes we are born
it
into
does.
families that aren't our actual families, so to speak.
Yeah,
And the journey is to be able to really tune into who and what spirit is telling you.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, absolutely. And I feel like uh I was, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate to this, that I'm so busy trying to live up to what I think I should be, right?
Yeah.
And that was probably one of the first things when I started getting counseling and trying to, unwind some of the crap. That was one of the first things she asked me to do as homework was to get rid of the word should, whether it was either in my vocabulary or in my thoughts. And at first I probably realized that I used the word 40 times a day because I was so programmed that that's what we're supposed to, we should, according to, parents, religion, work, or society, or this or that, rather than tuning into our higher selves and being in alignment and connected on that deeper, higher level, right?
Yeah.
I didn't know that then, but that's kind of what started that unwinding of the guilt and the shoulds, because it was stuck in my bones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I also love that the
Yeah.
universe was literally giving you the biggest gifts, in even the one where you were working and you were tuned into that lady so finely that something was there, and the universe is always giving us gifts to say, okay, come over here. Yep, follow that,
Yeah.
to let you know that yes, you were right onto it.
Yeah. And I've had some really interesting psychic moments or experiences also, that like even through some of this chaos, before I really stopped and did my work on me, I've had some really interesting moments where I've known there's more out there, there's more. I just didn't know how to tap into it. Yeah.
That's the joy of discovery, isn't it? How to tap into it and what comes your way to
Yeah.
flick that switch, or
Yes.
you're sharing around tapping more into your clairs. I mean,
Yeah.
that's such an exciting journey, isn't it? And
Yeah. 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 And I mean, if somebody had asked me, what it felt like to love myself or feel joy in through those years of chaos, no idea.
Yeah.
No idea.
Yeah. It's interesting.
I went to a ceremony, I don't know how many years ago. This was kind of at the beginning of my awakening, I'm going to say. I went to the ceremony that a friend recommended, and there was sound healing and drums and beautiful, beautiful spirits and people there. And the gal that was leading the ceremony, a shaman, said, if you feel led, come with an intention to, so that, you can hold space for that. And of course, I took that as pressure. Oh my gosh, I gotta write I gotta write a journal full of intentions. I don't know which one. Oh my gosh, it was. I laugh at it now because I'm so much more chill and in a very different space. But I appreciate the efforts.
Yeah.
Anyways, so I think it came down to, after a few days of just thinking about that and what was resonating, and I think all the intentions I had written down kind of led to the fact that if I had self-love and knew how to really love and accept myself, then that wouldn't even be a problem or whatever. And same with the next one. If I actually had self-love and acceptance of myself, then that wouldn't probably be on the list either. So I narrowed it down to that. And I walked away definitely with feelings and just the release of anything that was holding me back from loving myself was gone. And that started this huge transformation in how I saw myself, and just the beauty of the world even. It was amazing. And so I'm a huge self-love advocate.
I think we should talk about this.
Beautiful. Yeah.
We should go deeper in that because I feel like that's the thread that's coming through as well. You know, especially for women. I mean, there's a lot of men that listen to our podcast as well, but for women in general, you know, there's this kind of feeling of, you know, if you love yourself or show that you love yourself, that you're, you know, I'll get back in your box kind of thing, or don't talk about that, or don't show that, or whatever.
You're vain.
Yeah, you're vain, or
Yeah.
whatever that word is, or but it's actually the way through. I'm getting more and more that. And
Yes.
so for you, how is that translated or how is that translated
Plain out.
from what you're feeling coming back to you now when you have that certainty about who you are and what you are here to do, or what you're here to
Right.
give? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think once I would, you know, could see myself differently and really tap into more of that purpose, I'm going to say, the things that used to maybe bother me and cause angst or anxiety, and I was, you know, my PTSD and all that stuff, I was able to see it in a very different light. Because I'm not a fan of labels, and I knew that, you know, the more I think I'm a certain way, the more we kind of almost subconsciously put ourselves into those categories or boxes. And so I really just kind of walked away from that. And, you know, I used to think, oh, I struggle with so much anxiety or this or that. And now, yeah, sure, I might feel an anxious day or moment here and there, but I am not anxiety. I am love.
Yeah. Oh,
Well,
Right?
that's
That
that's
was
beautiful.
beautiful.
That was that's because what I just wanted to reflect on, like, from again, like, because again, like where we're at the moment, the letting go of the PTSD and the anxiety, what you just said then, I am not the anxiety, I am love. That is the way through. That is the key at the moment to, like, that next step forward for all of us.
Yeah.
But when we do reflect on, say, those big moments in our past and our journey, say when you were contemplating suicide, like not being here, like how old were you then, if you don't mind sharing, Celeste?
I was late 40s.
Yeah, so that's a big time in life, really, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
be at that point in life. Because I mean,
Yeah.
in Australia here, I don't know if it's global or not, but women over 55 are most likely to be homeless, and you know, there's a high level of domestic violence, that kind of thing,
Yeah.
for single women over 55. And
Yeah.
to be in 40s and to be disconnected to ourselves and struggling with reasons, purpose to be here,
Yeah.
it's like you've already lived a big life, haven't you? Like,
Yeah.
so much more
I
of
already,
yeah.
yeah. I lived a big life of a lot of chaos.
Yeah.
And so for me to you know, be that, you know, be at that age and have this turnaround. I mean, I feel like I won the lottery,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I
And what a
mean,
chance to experience that
I
feeling
can't,
opposite.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I mean, it took me a little bit to show myself the love and compassion and care that I was missing for all that time, but also, you know, through healing some of that past stuff, um, like you really have to step into a different space to go, you know, it's okay. And um, the the forgiveness that I had to put forth to some of these people, um, and the forgiveness I had to put forth for myself,
Yeah.
Like that was a big, courageous step, which all ties into the self-love.
Yeah.
And I think so many people feel like there's this, people are stuck in fear, or they don't deserve, or different things that kind of are instilled from these kind of traumatic, pasts or whatever. But if we could get just have enough courage just to step over that little wall, it's beautiful on the other side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that superhuman strength that kicked in when you led the hostage taker out the back. I mean, the mum that can lift a car when their baby,
Yeah.
and it is a huge superhuman courage, strength that just helps you to make a decision that you intuitively know needs to happen. But then, as you say, there's PTSD from that, because it's like a blind faith moment that needs processing.
Yeah.
But to contemplate what you just shared then around the forgiveness, that's that same superhuman strength, isn't it? To step into, but consciously and connected in the space, not sort of, disconnected.
Yeah.
It's intention and its best, isn't it?
Yeah. And the beautiful part about doing the work, and I encourage anybody that's struggling or isn't feeling like you have a fulfilled life, to do the work and get support, and do all the things, the daily practices that might raise your vibration and your frequency, because it's worth it. Like, I can't even stress that enough, right?
Yeah.
It's worth it.
Absolutely. You just need to have, I think it's the little wins along the way, isn't it, too, that you have, that you get. I know there's been moments where something's happened that's been so, like, almost miraculous, like a sign, or you've been thinking about something, and it happens, or that person shows up, or there's this little sign that gives you the answer that you're looking for. And a lot of the times I end up in tears, because I'm like so grateful for that moment to say, okay, you're in alignment. Things are happening for you. It's all perfect. Don't worry, let go, trust, all of those beautiful words that we know. But are so hard to stay connected with all the time. But
I think it's just practice also. Staying present. The more present we can stay, obviously, the more we can stay connected. And we still live in this 3D world. Somehow we gotta still do the dishes and stuff.
Absolutely.
So it's kind of that balance, and sometimes, I mean, I find that balance a little trickier than others, because I'd just love to live in all this other world all the time. I don't really want to do my dishes. I'm kidding, but you know what I mean.
We know what you mean.
Yeah. Sometimes there's life stuff that you just gotta do. But I also know that this human experience that we came here to live can be so rewarding and so fulfilling if we are willing to do the work, because I believe that we were here to learn lessons and go through experiences, and not judge it. Just, I don't want to learn some of these lessons in my next life, to be honest. There'll be new ones, I'm sure.
There's always more. What are some of the tools that you do, like those daily practices, Celeste, that help you stay like on connected on path and
so I mean, I meditate as soon as I get up every morning. But if I open my email or I turn my Wi-Fi off at night. So if I even turn on my Wi-Fi and start with, anything, I'm already distracted.
Yeah.
So I have a little favorite spot where it's my comfy spot, and I sit and meditate every single morning. And sometimes it's 5 or 10 minutes, and other times it's a long time. Like I don't have any set meditation. I go with what feels right that day, or what I feel like I need that day. But I also take out time throughout the day to bring myself back to the present moment, because I think we are all so busy with lives and kids perhaps, or jobs, or this or that, that I think we forget to bring ourselves just back into this present moment. And for that, I will take a couple of deep breaths and just realign. It takes seconds, really, but it's just consciously doing that with intention. So that's a couple of them. And I really love journaling still. It's just that's my jam.
Yeah.
It's kind of like journaling became my best friend, because you don't always necessarily have your best friend around you every morning to say, oh, this is what's going on.
Yeah.
So my journal became like my best friend, and I can write anything. I can be there for me if I need, something, and the encouragement or whatever. Yeah.
What is your relationship with God like now? Was it a Christian religion you were talking about when you were
Yes.
younger? Yes. Yeah.
Yes. So my relationship with, I don't even really use the word God. I use a higher being,
Universe, higher self.
universe. Yeah. So I have a great relationship with, spiritual relationship now.
Yeah.
But it's not with the same type of
Belief system.
entity that we were taught when I was young.
Doctrine.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I was scared. I was scared as heck when I was little,
Yeah.
of the whole thing. And I'm going to hell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you still find now that there's parts, I know, like for me now, even as an older woman, I'm like finding hooks from systems or beliefs or patterns from even being a young girl, even just growing up on the planet. There are systems and beliefs and stuff but I know religion was never part of my journey, but I know sometimes you can find, even as you get older and you realize there's still parts of little hooks that might be in there around beliefs of certain things that you were still awakening to. Do you find yourself still in those spaces where you're finding little
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes. And it used to annoy me.
Yeah.
And now I just use it as another learning to, I guess I've become such an energy snob. Like if my energy is raised and good, then whatever that hook is, maybe it's for me.
Yeah.
If my energy is low around that subject or that concept or that idea, then it's not for me.
Yeah.
So I use that test over and over and over again on a daily basis. Probably is another one of my daily things. I just don't, sit down and do it unless I, am faced with something. But I'm very aware of my energy around things, people, ideas, places, you name it. It's annoyingly sensitive.
Yeah, we love that word discernment. It's been a very strong word of ours
for a few years.
Yeah.
And we're still we're still, understanding that word, because it really is the gateway, isn't it? When we can practice that alignment, the feel, what's good, what's not, discernment becomes a lot easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And coming from the honest, aligned place, like, if you would have asked me 20 years ago, well, does this relationship feel good? I would be like, yeah, well, yes, he buys me stuff and
Yeah.
we go for nice dinners and or whatever, right? I
Yeah.
mean, I'm coming from a very different place.
Yeah.
But if you come from a place where you know you're aligned, you can feel that connection and then make that, does that raise my frequency or does it bring it down? That's when I can trust it. I think the trust thing was big for me because I made so many interesting choices
Yeah.
and a lot of it turned out into some pretty chaotic and heartbreaking situations. And so it took me a while to really trust myself again. But I learned through this practice of the awakening and loving myself and seeing things for what, in a very different way, that there's no need to not trust me.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So,
And do you find like, because like when I heard you sharing about your journaling before, it's almost like you're having a conversation with yourself, even though it's your best friend, which is you also, your best friend is you.
yes.
Do you feel like
Yeah.
that's been helpful in developing that relationship of trust and what now, relationships with other people
Yes.
look
Yeah.
like to
Yeah.
you?
That
Yeah.
too. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And sometimes different emotions that might feel a little wonky here and there. Sometimes it's easier for me to um meditate on them once I've journaled for a few minutes because it seems clearer, or maybe it's because I'm so intentional of how I journal that now um that it just brings me into my next step, which it would be meditation, that it just kind of clears that up. Okay, I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
another form of communication, isn't it? Like you said,
Yeah.
sitting there with your best friend, talking
Yeah.
about something, but writing it down and reflecting on it, which is so
Yeah.
powerful in itself. And it
Yeah.
clears the energy too.
Yeah.
Clears the space.
Yeah. And it really helps me. And sometimes, um, if somebody has done something hurtful or whatever, it helps me in my own self in letting things go, or forgiveness, or those types of things too. Because I want to make sure that slate always stays clear. That, I mean, because it's bogged down energy when we don't, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I think
Yeah.
as you're sharing before about being an empath, or a highly sensitive person, and now connecting with
Yeah.
your clairs, becoming more and connected to the wholeness of who you are.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
it does take a lot, I think, sometimes in this soup. We were talking around the world,
Yeah.
around the world being, such a big soup. Um,
Yeah.
to get the soup to get clear, so that clarity is there, so that your antennas, your sensitivities are coming from a place of
Yes.
clarity, as opposed to
Yes.
all those layers filtering
Yeah.
through and confusing things
Yes.
or making the
Yeah.
noises
Yeah.
overwhelming.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, exactly. So
What's your
it's
favorite?
it's taken a while to get to the point where I feel like on a day to day to day to day basis, I'm good. Um,
Hmm.
because it's been quite a ride.
Yeah, no,
But yeah,
wow.
yeah.
What's your favorite clear, Celeste? Is there one that's coming through more strongly or more dominantly at the moment? Like,
I have this, it's the knowing. Like I there's just knowings.
mhm.
That's the one that seems strongest for me at this point in my life. And but I want to, you know, kind of dig into all of them more so. And what that knowing is, it comes so strong sometimes. It's and then of course I just blurt things out because of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, oh, where'd that come from? I don't know. Okay. But it's fun. It's fun, and I'm having so much fun with life and this new way of seeing things. The one thing that is a little tricky sometimes is, I mean, I'm still living in this world, and not everybody is having this experience. So relating to others sometimes is
Tricky.
like just not when I'm working with a client so much as, you know, just day-to-day life. You know, it's like, because there's lots of people that are, you know, stuck in the politics or the fears or this and that. I'm like, we get to choose what we get to choose where we focus, and I'm choosing to focus on being a light. And hopefully that is going to make impacts on others that can also, you know, do that, and, you know, we'll make this world a better place together.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I'm finding hearing what you're saying. But also the thing that I'm learning too is that, you know, everything that's happening around us, even the people that are talking in these spaces that may not align with where we're at, is to hold the space for them to do some reflecting on their own. It's a bit like the journaling, on their own communication, you know, but just holding the space for them to be able to get out whatever they're needing to get out, to reflect on. And, you know, that's been the lesson for me anyway, personally, just to be able to learn to hold a better space, for those people. Because we're all on a journey, and like there's no wrong or right, and you know, we're all in the most perfect divine place that we need to be. In all moments. And, you know, for you to hear you say from where you've been, and to hear you say now how much joy you're having in your life, is just so beautiful to hear. And, you know, the journey you've had has been traumatic. And for whatever reason, that was the journey that you asked for, you know, coming onto the planet. We talked about this earlier, and how powerful you are to pull that in and be able to walk it and walk through it and come out the other side is just so beautiful. And that now you're here sharing this with us and our listeners has just been a real gift in itself. If you walk that journey just for this moment, then, you know, we're so grateful for you and feel honored to sit with you to share that, you know.
Thank you.
That's the beauty in it, isn't it? If it was just listening, hearing this, saying who was in that deep, dark place that we talked about earlier, hears you speak this and say, okay, I can get through this. There is a way through.
Well, and that's why I felt like when I finished that journaling session that turned out to be my book. Rerouted Memoir of a Wild Child.
I was just about to say,
such a fantastic name.
We will, because we are coming to nearer to the end. Love to hear about your book and the new one you're writing too. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, so when I became a nomad.
Oh yeah.
And I was going to go on a 3-month
pilgrimage.
Just explore who I am and see what happens. So I became a nomad, and in that I decided to do this healing, and once and for all, I'm like, oh man, that's coming up again. I'm gonna write this from A to Z. And so I actually ended up writing my life story in chronological order. My book's not in chronological order, but from A to Z, all the bad stuff and hurtful things and things that have affected me. And when I was done, there was that knowing. I knew that I had to share. I knew that somehow my story is going to impact somebody out there that is hurting, struggling, confused, stuck, unhappy, you name it. And somehow my story will be an inspiration.
Mm.
So that was the premise and the passion behind writing this book.
Beautiful.
And so I kind of go back and forth in time a little bit in the book, just so it's not all, one just long trauma thing. So I think from what readers are saying, they love it. It's getting some really good feedback, and everybody gets something different from it because of where people are at,
Yeah.
in their life.
Yeah.
So it's a memoir up until, when I wrote it several years ago. The next book is going to be more about the things that I've learned, like more of a tactical book that somebody can pick up and go, okay, what did she do to get from this miserable place to happiness?
Yeah.
Because that's not really spelled out. It's in between the lines in the book, but not really, really spelled out clearly. In a step-by-step fashion. So that's the book I'm working on now.
I love
Amazing.
that.
So kind of a bit more
Yeah.
workbook kind of, or,
Yes,
prompt to
exactly.
journal themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I think I have a name, but I'm not going to say it just in case it
Yes.
changes.
Yeah. No, you got to have some surprise.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. And I
Yeah.
guess you still have time for your journaling and writing your book, or does the book start to take over from the journaling because it's like it's a channel for you then?
The book is kind of when I feel that knowing those hits, and I sit down and at this point, it's not even on a computer document or anything. It's in my notebook because that's how I like to write. There's something about that for me. So once I get, all those ideas and the basis down, then I'll put it into my computer. But so I just have my notebook around, and I could be doing dishes or anything, and all of a sudden I'll have this.
Yeah.
So that's
It's
the
usually
stage
those moments,
that's in.
isn't it?
Mm.
It's the moments that we don't think. It's usually, I think a lot of people think, oh, I was sitting in meditation. Not that they don't happen in these moments, but I was sitting in meditation. I had this epiphany, and it was just this. And it's like,
Yeah.
well, sometimes it doesn't happen like that. Sometimes you can be sitting on the toilet. Sometimes you can be washing the dishes.
Absolutely.
And it's like, whoa, write that down, or,
and that's what, when I became a nomad and I lived on the beach for a while.
Wow.
And
you mean literally on the beach?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Excellent.
I mean, literally, I bought a camper van, and I literally lived on the beach.
Yeah.
So great.
Love that.
And that's where I wrote the book.
Oh, I love that.
So it was quite the experience. Anyways, but there was so many moments where I was doing absolutely nothing, or just sitting there and watching the sunrise over the water, or toes in my sand, or toes in the sand.
Yeah. It was your sand.
But it could just be any moment of anything, but as long as I was being present and just open, then it would come to me. And so now, I mean, I live a little bit more traditional life, but I still take time to be in nature, be in the present moment, watch for those nudges, and we'll see what happens. I mean, there's no right or wrong. It's just, as long as I'm happy and feeling on purpose, I guess.
Yeah. And open to it. That's all we need to be, isn't it? Is just be open to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's amazing when you take ourselves out of structure and the constraints of regimentation and life and routine, and some, and the normality, how we blossom and bloom, and what comes through, what what kind of morph into so freely, if the space.
Yeah.
Mm.
And that's exactly it. I think it's intentionally giving space, for
Oh, yeah.
for answers or joy or anything. It's just, I think sometimes just actually intentionally giving it the space to be there and allow it. Um, I oh shoot. I There's this great saying that I heard the other day, and it was just so well put, and I thought I'd remember it, but I don't right now.
It'll drop.
Whoops.
Drop.
If you remember
Yeah.
it, pop it in the email and we'll pop it up
Yeah.
for you. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask one
Yeah.
You
last
guys,
question.
yeah, I want to ask something too.
Just before
Yeah.
we close, is the one question we do ask everybody before we close it out is, how do you see the world now, Celeste? We have been on a bit of a collective roller coaster the last, say, 5 years, but how do you see the world now through your eyes? And, where do you think we're going moving forward?
I see the world way more beautifully than I ever have before. So, I know there's things that go on, and there's, concerns or this or that around certain things, but I feel so taken care of, and that I'm exactly where I need to be, and I'm in exactly the right space. And so I feel very confident in this experience. And I know that that's not always the collective feeling. But if I can share a little bit of that energy with others, that's my goal.
Yeah, I think it's
'Cause
everything that we've been talking about, the internal, isn't it? It's that self-love. If we can find that within, it doesn't matter what's going on out here.
Yeah.
We can feel
Yeah.
that within. Yeah.
Yeah. And I do know that being careful of where we put our focus is probably one of the number one tools,
Yeah.
right? If we focus on where there's I mean, it's not just spiritual. I think it's actually science. Like if we focus on where there's hate and fear, we're going to experience more hate and fear in our experience. We just will.
Yeah.
And if we focus on love and being protected, and that's not the right word, but taken care of, if we focus on beautiful friendships and making a difference in this world, we all of a sudden have more of those experiences. That's just how it works. So I'm very careful. Like I said earlier, I'm an energy snob, and I'm very careful where I put my focus.
Wise.
Healthy boundaries.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wanted to ask, just because how you've seen the world is, I think, for me, what I wanted to ask was these nudges. Like, you mentioned that you got them as a child, but got separated from that part of yourself, and then now that these nudges, you've brought them back into your sharing around where you are now. And is that connected to your knowingness, or do you feel like that clear, that knowingness, or do you feel that the nudges are like a little that resonancy, the frequencies calling you here? Is it
kind of I'm going to say a bit of both. I think the nudges were calling me home, and I just didn't listen, but now that I feel like I am home, those nudges probably feel a little bit different. They're not I think it's just so part of my everyday life now that it just feels like, oh, I'm being guided. And that's how it feels now. Whereas, years ago, it was almost like this big grand thing, and then I'd ignore it anyways. not always, but you know, I didn't see it for what it was then, but now it's just part of my everyday life. I really feel like I'm being guided every single day. And so those nudges are, I think, part of the, you know, just that spiritual, I'm tapped in a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're extremely grateful that
Beautiful.
you were guided.
Yeah. Yes. You followed
Join
the
us.
Yeah.
That nudge was spot on.
Yes.
Yes, we have really, really loved having you on. Your awakening journey and story is just so perfect for this podcast and our
Yeah.
listeners.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, they love coming on this ride, and they take so much from each beautiful lady that comes on. So once again, we're so grateful to have you on, and thank you for sharing your awakening story with us today, Celeste.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me here.
Yay.
It's felt like a meditation, really, because I felt like everything just slowed down, and
Yes,
it was
Oh, good.
very
Good.
present, like literally.
Energy, baby. Energy.
Yeah.
Love it.
So for anyone wanting more information on Celeste, we will pop all of her info at the bottom of the podcast notes.
Perfect.
And thank
Keep
you.
an eye out for that second book, everybody.
Yes.
Read the first one while you're waiting.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Thank you so much, ladies.
Thank you, Celeste.
Bye.
Okay.
Thank you for listening to our Girl Awakening podcast. We are also on YouTube as Girl Awakening. We'd love to see you there with comments on how our guests resonated with you or your own awakening. Please share the love with a like and subscribe while you're there. A blissful thank you to Ksenia Luki, the amazing artist behind our theme song. We will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.